there's got to be like a level of class with all this stuff.
What do you
James Bond doesn't powder his balls.
That's not class, dude. James Bond absolutely powders the boy.
No, he does not.
This is coming from a guy named after Sean Connery. All right, he powders the boys.
No, he does not.
Yeah, I'm sorry, he does. What is this? This is going to be episode 13.
Is it 13?
Yeah.
We should be talking about Friday 13th on episode 13, shouldn't we?
But we're not.
But we're not.
I'm not talking about Friday 13th on episode 13. We're just saying episode 13. Boom. Bang.
We have a lot of female watchers. Something that I enjoy in the comments is that, you know, a woman will go, hey, wait a minute, I'm a female. There's more than 2 or 3, and they're chiming in. There is a female watcher who's a very good friend of mine. Her name is Erin Kruger McCash, who is the department head makeup on American Horror Story and many other shows. But she's an avid watcher. I can't believe she's watching this. I don't know why you're watching this, Erin. She's a female. She watches the show. She's into it.
What is wrong with Erin?
I don't know what her. She's a supporter. She likes horror. She likes monsters. She's into it. She's one of us. So, hi, Erin. Thank you for watching. I just wanted to do that. Thank you so much. This is part 2 of Matthew Lillard. Yes?
Yeah. Now, the first part was more of us just kind of BSing. And part 2 is where we're really delving into the fan questions. We actually just got done doing another interview. We did another ranking episode with a musician, Mr. Spencer Charnas from Ice Nine Kills, lead singer. Yeah. We're going to be ranking the Scream franchise. Be the next episode. Our next horror guest will be Jeffrey Combs.
That's right.
Unless something happens, you know, people's schedules change. But as it stands, Jeffrey might be up next. So feel free to send in some questions for Jeffrey. And, I have to address this since this episode will be seen first. Yes, my face is sunburnt. I was outside today playing basketball, and I am milky
Who were
white.
you playing basketball with, Sean?
I wasn't going to name drop, but if you're going to serve it up.
I just set you up.
You did. I was playing basketball with the Punisher himself, Mr. John Bernthal.
There you go.
Yeah, and he schooled me. As he should, being 10 years younger and in incredible shape, and I haven't done anything active in God knows how long.
Tickets to the gun show. I have some, before we get into the questions and stuff, is that what we're doing?
Yeah, we're doing questions.
I have a get off. I wrote down some get off my lawns.
Mm-hmm. I'm just going to have it ready.
I wrote it down.
From having to put the clip in. I can just hold this up.
I actually wrote them down, everybody, because I know I'm sick of feeling them and thinking them every day, but not remembering them. Here's one. What is with the thumbs down thing on the, because I'm new to the YouTube and our show and all this stuff. What is with the thumbs down click? You can click on not liking it. I don't like that. I don't like it.
Yeah.
What's the point? Like, here's my thing. If you don't like it, then just go somewhere else or click off it or something. Do you really have to, you have to fucking let someone know that you don't like it. You have to do that. You have to go, yeah, no, don't like that. Like, fuck off. Like, I get it. If you don't like it, that's cool. It's not for everybody. I don't like a lot of things. But if you don't like it, why you gotta click on don't like it? You know, it's so mean. I find it mean.
I agree. When I'm on YouTube, if I click on a video and it's total garbage, I won't even hit a thumbs down just because I just think it's a dick thing to do. Like, what?
It's a dick move. You're just being a dick if you do that.
When I see that there's always 1 or 2 on our videos, you know, maybe there'll be more after this episode. I don't know. But when I look at those, I look, oh, there's 3 really unhappy people in the world. That's how I look at it. You know, those are people that obviously have shitty lives and fuck those people.
I'm not judging your life or anything.
I
but
am
if you don't
judging
like
your-
it,
I'm
then
judging
just
your
go
life.
away. Just fine. It's fine. But the point, it's like pointing out someone. It's like walking up to somebody on the street and going, "No, I don't like the way you look. Thumbs down." It's the same thing. It's like why would you do that? Just don't say anything.
It's like that episode of Black Mirror. Or that episode of Black Mirror when they.
No.
Did you watch Black Mirror?
I watched one episode actually. I liked it a lot, but I don't.
Dude, you need to watch Black Mirror. I mean,
I know.
It's fucking great. No, it's great, and I don't
just sit in front of the fucking TV.
Dude, it's great. There's an episode that it's all about this actually.
Oh wait, it's the one that I watched. It's the one with what's her name, the redhead. You're judged solely based on yeah.
You didn't like that? That's a great
episode. I did like it. No, I liked it. I liked
Obviously
it a lot.
not enough to keep watching.
Nah, I can't watch TV series. It's hard for me.
It's like Twilight Zone. It's not a series.
Barry or Ozark.
But it's not a series. You can watch them out of order. They're all different.
Yes,
They're like Twilight Zone.
Right. Yeah. I have more to get off my lawn. Can I talk more about this?
Keep getting off the lawn.
I'm very proud of the fact that I wrote this down. Halloween decorations. Why are they so happy? With the happy pumpkins and the glitter pumpkins and the happy this and the happy kitty cats and the happy witches and the happy... When did Halloween become happy? Like a cutesy, crafty Halloween happy thing. That drives me mad. I don't like it. I want scary. Everything Halloween should be scary. I don't like the happy thing. Sorry. There you go.
Did you get anything this week? Anything new?
I did. I got some tombstones. Oh, yeah. I got tombstones and I got this. I got my Ace Frehley pumpkin.
From Ian's Pumpkins?
From Ian's Pumpkin.
Is it Ian's?
Which is amazing. That thing is amazing. That
killed it.
He killed it.
And it's not even turned on. When he turns it on, it gets washed out, but it looks
blows
amazing.
It out. Watch, I'll show you. See, it blows it out.
Yep. But it doesn't look like that in person. When it's turned on in person, I mean, it looks amazing.
Look at that amazing.
Yeah.
Thing is incredible. So thank you.
Ian's Pumpkin Carvings. You can find him on Instagram at Ian's Pumpkin Carvings. Ian Fetterman.
I'm going to go on. Hold on. Let me go unplug it and show it close up because that thing is badass. Look at that thing.
That's amazing.
How badass is that?
Yeah, you killed it.
Killed it. So thank you for that. That is amazing. I love it. Got some foam tombstones from Spirit. Bought some tombstones for the front yard because I'm getting ready to decorate for Halloween. We're going to do it within the next couple days. We're going to do the front yard. Very excited. I also got a couple ghosts, which I can't show you right now, but we'll get them from Grandin Road.
I just got this from Scream Factory. You may have heard of this film.
Oh! We used to call that movie Goat Shit when we worked on it.
The review was just a 2-word review.
Goat Shit.
It said ghost shit. Yeah.
Yes, I worked on Ghost Shit. You just got that?
Yeah, it just came in the mail this week. So, you didn't do an interview for that?
I did not.
No. No love from Scream Factory.
No love from Scream Factory.
Let's see. I don't know. A slow
Lame
week
factory.
for me. I did get this. I collect. For all of you that don't know, I collect Kiss stuff. I was pretty excited about this. I got this old 1980 Collegeville Costumes catalog.
Ooh.
And dude, it is really neat. Like all the stuff that's in here. That has some. Let me look at this Kiss ad. How cool is that?
That's really cool. Yeah.
And there's more shit in here too. There's actually more dude, I need that Village People costume. You kidding me?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
I mean, it's a pretty cool catalog. I paid way too much for it.
That's really cool.
Should we jump into some questions?
We
fan
should.
questions. Frank Riker.
Hi, Frank.
This is a winning question to kick off with, Frank. Chris and Sean, what fictional character would you like to have as a friend? My choice would be Predator or Battle Cat from He-Man.
Oh, I know who it is.
Who?
Gossamer.
Who's that?
Gossamer.
What is that?
Call yourself a nerd.
What the fuck's Gossamer?
The Bugs Bunny Warner Brothers monster when he goes to the castle, the monster he's all covered in red. He's red furry.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of Gossamer with the big tennis shoes and the big eyes. Gossamer.
Why would you want him to be your friend?
Have you seen Gossamer? When's the last time you watched those cartoons?
Forever.
The Gossamer.
Forever.
You go ahead and watch them. You tell me you wouldn't want to be his pal.
When it's like fictional character, it's like, I don't know, I mean, it's funny because my head immediately went to a cartoon character too, because he said Battle Cat from He-Man, but then he said Predator. Right. It's like,
I'm gonna be friends with Predator.
Yeah.
Why would you want to do that?
I don't know. And I mean, it'd be cool to have a Battle Cat. Yeah, I don't know.
You mean if he was nice to you? He means like if Predator was a nice guy, he would want to be pals with Predator.
Yeah. I guess I'd want to hang out with Wooderson from Dazed and Confused and go pick up high school girls. I don't know.
Okay. That's a good one. All right.
I mean, of legal age, of course. All right.
Of course, man.
Anyway, I don't know. Fictional character? Yeah, I'm trying to think of somebody fun. I mean, if I was thinking of a cartoon character, for some reason, Underdog pops in my head. I don't know, because I love Underdog. I don't know, bro. That's a tough one.
It's a lot, but you can go all day with that.
Tony Floyd, for some reason, out of nowhere, said, met Savini at a convention. Guy was completely rude and didn't care to be there.
You're keeping this because this is awesome already.
Hold on. Tried talking to him. Yes, I did buy a photo and signed poster. He just didn't give a shit. However, his wife was super sweet. The following year, he did the same shit to my buddy. Unreal. Don't be there then. However, meeting Chris was a highlight. It was fun to nerd out over Halloween and talk about the masks he made for the upcoming 2018 film. Okay, here's the thing. Tom, for some reason, gets a lot of negativity. I think what it is, and I'm going to defend Tom Savini right here because I think Tom is a super nice guy. I just think Tom has an attention issue. He has this thing, even if you know Tom really well, he does this thing where he gets distracted and he starts to look around, and it feels like he isn't engaging with you, and it comes off as rude. And I've noticed that about him. I've known the guy now for, I've been interacting with him for 30 years and I've known him for like 20. It's nothing personal. I think he has an attention issue. He's easily distracted. What do you call that? ADD, whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't think you should take it personal unless he told you, oh yeah, fuck off. If he did one of those, but he usually, I think he comes off as, I think people take it the wrong way because he'll be talking to you and he'll be like, yeah, the other day I was, and he just starts looking around, and it comes off as, this guy isn't paying attention to me,
But also too, I don't know if Tom is necessarily comfortable as famous and social as he is. I don't know how comfortable. It's like that great Rush. I'm going to quote Rush right now. I can't pretend the stranger is my long-awaited friend. I think that he's that guy.
And maybe his uncle owns a country place that no one knows about. I don't know.
All right, fuck off.
What? I did what?
Yeah. No, we're done. Next question. That's fine.
Come on, that was kind of good.
That was pretty good.
Baffa D's wants to know, have you or Chris seen Monster House, and what are your thoughts on it if you have? I think it's the perfect movie to watch during Halloween season, like Halloween, Season of the Witch, or The Great Pumpkin. Monster House, fan, seen it, not seen it?
That's the animated movie?
It's like a Pixar-y type movie.
Yeah. No, I've seen it. Yeah, it's good. I like it. It's not in my rotation.
Yeah.
But I do like. I remember I saw it. I think I saw it in the theater when it came out. I do like it, but it's not like in my Halloween rotation. No.
I liked it, but yeah, it's not my rotation either. I may want to revisit it and give it another shot.
Yeah, me too. I'm thinking that too. Yeah.
Because I didn't dislike it. The guy who made the film, the director, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I met him. That film came out back when I was a journalist, and we used to do set visits. And since it was an animated, CG animated film, they did this weird thing where we went to the Sony lot and met with him and looked at storyboards, and he talked about the film. And he was a super nice guy, and he was a huge horror fan. And I remember he and I bonded on our love for Tron. They had us in a little bus, and they were driving us from one part of the lot to another, and they passed by the building that was used for Flynn's Arcade, and I pointed it out to him, and he flipped out. It was a fun little moment. Nice guy. Give it another shot for sure. Damsel in the Dollhouse said, you definitely have more than just 3 chicks watching the show. I'm a chick, and I love it, so that's at least 4 with a heart. We're going to be like Hugh Hefner here eventually, with just like all these women just, you know. Brandon Hendricks says, Chris doesn't like fart, poop, and dick jokes. No wonder he's so grouchy. You need to indulge in that kind of humor to loosen you up.
That's one theory.
He said, but my question pertains to Halloween 2018. Oh, have you heard of that Halloween 2018, Chris?
No.
Chris plays in the scene, so perhaps he might have some insight. Oh, don't. This is bad for the kids, Chris.
No, it isn't. I don't give a shit.
It's bad for the kids. Kids don't smoke.
What kids?
Don't be a Chris Nelson. Be a Sean
What
Clark.
kids?
The kids. This is geared towards children, is it not? Is it not? Are these all kids? I'm answering questions.
Yes, we're talking about ball powder and fucking.
Dude, life lessons, bro. These kids are going to have to powder those babies eventually.
Yeah, and they need to learn to not smoke.
Or you'll end up like that. All right. Chris plays in the scene, so perhaps he might have some insight. The thing we kept hearing was this Halloween movie will have references to every previous Halloween movie, which some a bit too obvious, heavy-handed to the detriment of the film.
Oh.
So I was wondering if the scene with the 2 cops discussing Bomb Me was homage to the clown cops in part 5. It seemed like it, but I figured Chris would know.
I don't know where it came up that Halloween 2018 was filled with references to all the Halloween movies. I don't think that was ever a thing. It wasn't something that, I mean, there was some here and there, but I don't think it was a conscious choice across the board. As far as the 2 cops, maybe that's a David question. I don't know. I was not told or privy to, hey, we're trying to play with the idea of those 2 crazy cops and this and that. So no, I don't think so. I think it was just David and Danny's sense of humor. I don't think we were playing to that at all. I think we were just trying to, they were making the movie that they were making. I will say no.
Kelsey Solom, another girl, said,
Hi, Kelsey.
A question for both of you. Have you ever listened to the album Tommy by The Who, as well as have you seen it? If so, thoughts?
Yes. I'm a huge Who fan. Huge Who fan. I've been listening to The Who since I was a little kid. I love The Who. I love Tommy. Yes, I've seen the movie. Yes, I've listened to the album many times. I love The Who. I learned how to play guitar because of Pete Townsend. That was my first guitar love. And I actually, when I play, I tend to put a lot of Pete Townsend into what I play because I just love Pete Townsend. And I love all his stuff. So, yeah, huge Who fan.
More importantly, every time he strums, he does this. So
I do that even with a torn rotator cuff, which I have, by the way.
I, on the other hand, not a big Who fan. I like a lot of songs by them, but I don't celebrate their whole catalog like Chris does.
I do. I celebrate their entire catalog.
Daniel Solano, greetings from Costa Rica.
Oh, I love Costa Rica.
I've never been.
Oh, it's amazing.
My name is Daniel. Just want to say that I love the podcast. Great chemistry between you both, and it's really entertaining. Love the Get Off My Lawn rant. been a fan of Sean and the HHG and the YouTube channel and followed Chris's work for a while. Just want to ask both of you, which is your favorite live artists? Seeing the Eddie drawing behind Chris from Derek Riggs. I love Maiden, my favorite band. Saw them twice in my country. They're incredible live, so energetic. I also went to see Black Sabbath, Megadeth, Symphony X, Epica, Camelot, Slayer, Judas Priest, Whitesnake. Just keep up the great work, and thank you so much for the knowledge and the fun you gave us. Pura Vida, as we say here, it's our way to say everything is great, pure life. So yes. I guess he said, which is your favorite live artists? Maiden for both of us, definitely.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
Kiss,
Maiden, Bowie,
Rammstein. Rob Zombie always puts on a great show. Want to say something very positive about Rob Zombie after the Halloween ranking episode. So I think he puts on an amazing show.
Yeah. Queens of the Stone Age are great live. Yeah. I love Queens of the Stone Age.
Rush was great.
Rush is amazing. Queen.
Never saw them live, but yes, they were amazing live from what I saw.
God, so good. The Cars were really good live, actually. I saw the Cars back on the Heartbeat City tour. Wang Chung opened for them.
And blew them off the stage.
But the Cars were really great live. Black Sabbath. I saw Black Sabbath at the Hollywood Bowl. Was it last year or the year before? They were amazing. Ozzy, Black Sabbath, like, that's like you. Van Halen. I mean, I can go on and on.
Roger Waters, one of the great.
Roger
Waters, some of the greatest shows I've ever been to in my life.
Saw him a couple years ago at the Staples, which was amazing.
I saw that here and I saw that in Melbourne, Australia. Fucking amazing show. Christina Healy, hi from Ireland.
Oh,
I came across your channel due to your appreciation on the We Watched a Movie YouTube channel. I'm now a newly subscriber and can't wait to see more future content, as I love hearing the stories you both tell. And I just overall love seeing more horror content on YouTube. By the way, I just wanted to let you know, after watching The Thing with Two Heads, episode 8, that Irish people don't say top of the morning to you. Well, top of the evening to you, lads.
Exactly. Well, thank you for watching. Top of the... I'm not going to say.
Yeah. What?
Thank you for watching and putting up with our horse shit. That's awesome. I love that we're talking to people in Ireland and all over the world. It's amazing. I can't believe that you're sitting there all the way over in Ireland, sitting there watching our two stupid heads.
Jake Messman wants to know, hey guys, love the show. Either of you guys happen to be Husker Du fans? If not, what are some of your favorite 80s underground / punk bands, if you have any? I never got into Husker Du.
Yeah, me neither.
As far as 80s punk band, one of my all-time in my top 5 favorite bands of all time is the Descendents. Although I'm one of those odd dudes that they even say this in the Descendents documentary Filmage, that nobody says that they're a bigger fan of All than they are of the Descendents. I happen to be one of those people that does like All more than the Descendents. I love them both almost equally, but I think because All has more material, they've put out more records, and it's the same band with a different singer. I mean, get over it. Right. So anyway, big fan of them. Love Bad Religion. Love Bad Brains. They you know, they're hardcore and punk sort of, but and Cro-Mags, you know, they're more hardcore. But yeah, of course, I mean, I know you're a big Ramones fan, Chris.
Oh God, Ramones. I'm all about the Ramones. When it comes to punk, I'm all about the Ramones. And I don't even consider Ramones a punk band, to be honest with you. Well, I consider them a pop band, actually.
Yeah, they're pop. I mean, same thing with Descendents.
Pop rock band.
Descendents are pop punk. I mean, they're power pop, but they get you know, flagged as punk. The Dickies.
No, I'm a 100% Ramones guy.
The Dickies is another band I've been a fan of forever. Steve Wade said the talcum powder bit was great, so let's have some fun with this. Sean, suppose there was a known second H1 hero mask in existence in really good condition, and suppose the owner of this invaluable mask was offering to give it to you. The trade-off would be you can never use any kind of powder on your boys ever again the rest of your life. What do you do? I take the mask.
This is a dumb question.
I take the mask.
Yeah.
I'd still take the
It's
mask.
an easy question.
Conversely, for Christopher, would you accept the mask, but you have to powder the boys for the rest of your life? All you have to do is powder them once a day. Keep the mask. Original H1 hero. Wow. Why are you thinking about this?
I gotta think about this.
He says,
I don't like to do anything I don't want to do, man. I don't like.
You're just a fucking grouch, man. You're such a grouch.
I'm not a grouch.
You are.
I'm not.
You are. I don't like anything I don't want to do.
Conviction. There's a difference. There's conviction than being a grouch.
Grouch.
What is it? I can get the mask, the original 78 mask,
just
for free if I powder my balls for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Like brushing your teeth every morning.
All right, cool. Great. Yeah, I'll do it.
He said, great show and stay real.
That real enough for you?
There you go. Colin Murdy. Again, another great show, guys. Have to agree with Chris.
Oh, Colin Murdy.
Have to agree with Chris that Under the Skin is an awesome film. I have the vinyl soundtrack, which is also superb. I will definitely check out Chris's SFX program on YouTube. Never even knew it existed. I can't wait to hear both your opinions on the film Possession. Oh, shit. We forgot to talk about Possession.
Oh, yes.
One of my favorites from that era. I mentioned before in a previous comment from last week that I visited the filming locations when I lived in Germany. The performances within that film are incredible. Can't wait for the Jeffrey Combs episode. Would love to see Dee Wallace as a possible guest or Tom Atkins. Stay safe, you two, Colin, fire, and a pumpkin. Okay, so yeah, it's funny because we both talked earlier that he's finally seen it, and we completely forgot to talk about it.
Yes.
So, Chris.
Yeah.
Everything that you say, oh, do possession. All right, go ahead.
We're going to talk about Possession right now?
Possession.
Oh,
yeah. Sorry, I have to do a little.
God, what do I do? I will say, overall, I did not like the film. Overall, in a whole. I did not like it. I thought it was pretentious and up its own ass. I thought it was. I did. I don't ask me if you don't want to fucking know. Don't ask me.
I'm just listening, bro. Why are you getting so negative? Why so negative, bro? Why are you coming at me?
It's not negative. It's not negative.
Why are you coming at me like that?
I love Sam Neill. I love Sam Neill. And boy, those two actors, Sam Neill and the woman, I knew her name because I looked her up. I Wikipedia'd her. Mm-hmm. They were going for it with the acting, man. They were going for it. Like, it was over the top. I did like the Cronenberg-esque creature and the whole thing, and that I did like that. There are things about the movie I did like. That I wish it would have focused more on.
Isabel and Johnny.
Yeah. She won like a BAFTA, I think, for that film that year or something.
She
anyway,
killed it.
Yeah. There are parts of it I liked. I would liked it cut different. None of it made sense. I don't like art films. I don't like art films either. I don't like them. I think they're pretentious and horseshit and I just don't like them. So I didn't like the art film part of it. I liked the straight up horror of it, but I didn't like the art film of it. And so, and I like Sam Neill. I think Sam Neill was getting his footing with the acting on that one, but I think a lot of that had to do with the director going, no answer is wrong. You know what I mean? Like, it's like going, I felt like everybody on the film was going, so what do you want this to be like? Do you want me to do this? Do you want me to do that? And the director just went, there's no wrong answer. Like that, I would retitle that film, There's No Wrong Answer, because it was just so all over the place. I don't know. I didn't like it. I wasn't crazy about it. Meh.
I definitely thought it was an experience. I mean, it was, I started watching this thing going, what the fuck is this movie? The acting is so weird and it didn't feel like it was really going anywhere. But then, like the guy that played Heinrich was such a fucking weird character.
Oh my God, dude.
But he was awesome.
So,
It reminded me of being it reminded me of being in a bar after hours at a convention with a drunk Udo Kier. I mean, because that's pretty much how he acts when he's hammered, and because he's how are you, very touchy, how are you, oh, look at you, oh, your hair is so beautiful. It was creepy as fuck, and the creature stuff is creepy. That whole scene where she goes berserk having the miscarriage in the subway station was insane, and finally answered a question of that. I've seen like a gif from that forever of her smashing the milk against the wall, and I had no idea what movie it was from. But I was so on the fence with the whole movie up until the end sequence that honestly it tied it all together for me in a way that I walked away from it liking it. It was so weird and so different. I mean, it needed to be shorter. It's over 2 hours long.
It's stupid long.
You could cut a good 30 minutes out of that and get
easily
a better movie, probably that would flow better. And
there is that cut, by the way.
There is a shorter cut.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Anyway, I liked it. I gotta say, when it was all said and done, it was entertaining. That's a movie that would be fun to see with an audience.
I just got tired of the two of them arguing all the time, like overacting arguing. Like Sam Neill going, "Tell me what's going on," and then she tells him.
Yeah.
And then he's going, "Why won't you tell me what's going on?" And then she tells him. And then he's like, "Talk to me." And I'm like, oh, fuck me, with the repetitive. Holy shit, dude, you're fucking murdering me. And the kid, like, what's the kid doing? Like, dude. I did some research about it, and the director was going through a divorce, and apparently the scene where he comes home and the kid's been sitting there for days covered in jelly, that actually happened. Like, that's actually a real thing.
At the very end, when the kid runs in the bathroom and just jumps face down,
jumps in the pool and dies,
jumps in and doesn't, dude, I just loved it. I was like, that's so weird. It's so weird.
But that's my point. Is like,
and creepy Sam Neill at the door, like the doppelganger Sam Neill.
Yeah.
I liked it.
No, I get that. Like, can we just cut out, like you said, like, let's cut out a good 30 to 45 minutes of that movie. I'd have been like, okay, I get it. Because, it's like kind of watching those Italian movies that Dario Argento did, or like those movies are, you watch them and you're like, this is fucking cool. I just wish they'd trim the fat. Like, all those movies need fat trimmed.
Yeah.
So. Anyway.
I will say this. I watched it by myself, and Nay walked in at least twice because she heard it in the other room, and she's like, "What the fuck are you watching?" And just this woman screaming constantly because she was always hysterical and screaming.
Yeah, everything went on too long.
Yeah,
I watched it with Stephanie, my girlfriend, and she was like, "This movie's a piece of shit." Like, she was like, "Nope, this is awful."
The funny thing is, I told Nay, I said, "I actually think you'd dig this movie." I think she would, because she likes weird shit, and it is a body.
I like weird shit too. But not. Here's a good example. We talked about on the last episode. I watched Under the Skin recently again, and I love that movie. I'm a huge fan of it, and it's my go-to all the time. Is that Under the Skin is beautiful storytelling without hitting you over the head. It's the less is more thing for me. Like, I love less is more. I love Under the Skin because if you look at that movie nowadays, if you made that movie, or if an American studio did it, because it wasn't an American film, you would have, I need to know where the alien's from. What's the alien's name? What's the planet they're from? Why are they on Earth? What is their point with what they're doing? Like, it's too much. I don't need all that. I'm smart enough. I don't need to know all that. Just let it be ambiguous and mysterious and stuff like that. And so that was going back to my point, is like Possession. I was like, There's, huh? It's like David Lynch. I like
pretty
David
ambiguous.
Lynch.
The creature was pretty ambiguous.
It is, yes, and I don't mind that. That's the part I liked. Mind you, I like that part. I didn't like the metaphors of divorce through the whole thing. I'm like, fuck off. You know, get over it. But anyway, there you go. There's our review of Possession.
Mikey Weiss said, loving these podcasts, guys. Also, keep those food reviews coming if you can. I've been living my sweet tooth dreams vicariously through you, Sean. Have a great weekend, fellas. Well,
Me
Chris
too. I've been doing the same thing, living vicariously through Sean's food eating. I wish I could do it.
Well, actually, Chris and I were talking about it. And we thought it might be fun if we both tried something at the same time on the show. So we might do that just for fun, just for the hell of it. Around the Fur, Breton says, gentlemen, glad to see the show is gaining some traction. Keeping it short and sweet. Question, can both of you guys remember your first cassette or vinyl that made a huge impact on your life?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I can.
Yes. There you go. There's the answer.
Mine,
yes, we remember.
Was,
oh,
yes.
You're going to tell him what it was?
Oh.
He didn't ask. He just said, can you remember?
Yes, I can.
We can remember. Okay, go ahead. Tell him.
Mine was Kiss. Kiss. The first Kiss album ever.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first vinyl. I was a young kid. There was a contest on the radio outside of Pittsburgh where if you called in and answered some question or whatever, you would win Kiss's first album and a skateboard. And I called in. I was a little kid. And I called in and I answered the question. And I got the very first Kiss album with their four faces on it. And I won that album and I listened to it and it was everything to me. It changed my entire life, changed my view of music, changed my view of art, changed my view of creativity, changed my view of everything. It was everything to me.
The first album that made an impact on me was Kiss Alive, because that was the first Kiss album I got, and it totally changed my life, as you can see behind me. I mean, to this day, I'm still a Kiss nerd, so that was the one for me.
What does the pop say?
What does the pop say? Says, my question is for Sean. My friend told me you attended Shock Pop Con in Fort Lauderdale. I attended as well. Sadly, I didn't see you, but I ask, did you know the whole ordeal about the aftermath debacle that con dealt with after it ended? Also, is it possible to get Rick Baker on as a guest for the show? I'll answer the first part. You can answer the second part. So, yes, the Shock Pop Con, which ended up being a debacle because the guy didn't have the money to pay the guarantees at the end of the weekend. I fortunately got my people paid because I do a good job and I'm, I don't fuck around, and I was in his face early. But yeah, there was a big blowback because of that, and they never had another show again. But I left unscathed, and to be perfectly honest with you, I had a lot of fun that weekend, and it was a pretty fun show, and we did decent, and I enjoyed it. Rick Baker. Chris.
I had Rick on my show, on my other show, the Character Show, which Sean was so kind to promote on the last episode. Could we get Rick Baker? I think possibly, yeah.
At some point, maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if he'd be up for our brand of humor. He seems like he's a little more straight-laced, but...
He is, yeah. Yeah.
So I wouldn't expect, if we did get him, for it to be on par with the normal tone of our show, but I would love to interview him,
Yeah, no, it would be a little more professional. A little more serious, a little more professional, which I'm prone to as well. Like this is about fun, we're having fun here, and Rick is fun too. I know Rick, and he's a fun guy, but I don't know, maybe, yeah, could do that. Could try it out.
What does the Rick say?
What does the Rick say?
Brett Stortenbecker said, you guys talk about music periodically. Yes, we just did. I'm curious to know if you guys would do a list of your top 5 or 10 movie score soundtracks. I was going over Christopher's filmography, and The Hangover Part 3 sticks out from the rest, in my opinion. Can he detail what he did in that movie? I just watched it and I'm trying to figure out what he might have done. Thanks for answering my last set of questions. As far as a soundtrack ranking, I guess we could do that at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like soundtracks.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, for sure.
We'll try to work that in at some point. Hangover 3, what'd you do?
There's a scene where I think they're in a prison or something, and there's tons of there's like a kind of a prison riot thing. I did a ton of tattoos, like fake tattoos on prisoners, because that's something that people don't realize is that, you know, you watch a movie and you see people with tattoos. 9 times out of 10, they don't have those tattoos, guys. So that's part of a makeup artist's job, is to do tattoos and to make them look real and to do all that stuff. So there were tons and tons of tattoos in that scene and stuff. So yeah.
Todd Jara said, another great episode, fellas. I'm a huge fan of horror, and maybe I'm the only one who doesn't know this, but what is the reference to the name of your show, The Thing with Two Heads? Sorry if it appears I'm living under a rock for not knowing, but I'd like to know. Keep the awesome shows coming. Cheers. Chris?
It's a movie that I love very much, with Rosie Greer.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that movie. It's hilarious and it's super fun to watch. If you haven't seen it, watch it. Thing with Two Heads. But it came to me honestly because I like that movie, and that when Sean and I were trying to come up with the title for this show, it just fit. Like, it made complete sense. Like, to me, I went, that's it. That's because it's vague and ambiguous enough to cover a lot of subjects, and like Sean says, it's genre enough, but it doesn't lock us into the genre. You know what I mean? So that's where the name came from.
Shanna Banana said, I'm female number 4. Well, it's looking like you're female number 6 at this point.
I think
Hi,
we're going to have to
stop keeping count. Said, my boyfriend showed me parts of your episodes, and I think you guys are hilarious. Let her see all of it. Don't just show her parts. Come on now.
She's a woman of her own right. She can do whatever the fuck she wants. Let her watch what she wants to watch. But thank you, Shauna. Thank you, Shauna. Appreciate it.
Boogeyman Ben.
Boogeyman Ben with a red right hand.
The Boogeyman Ben. The Boogeyman Ben.
It's like a Nick Cave thing.
Yeah. He just wanted to say how great the Matthew Lillard one was, and thanks for reading his comments, and that he has his own theme on YouTube. You and Chris are awesome. Thank you both for these amazing podcasts. It brought me a lot of joy during this difficult year. Boogeyman Ben, you got it, sir. Thank you for watching and being a loyal listener. Or watcher. I guess you have to do both. Watch and listen.
With the red right hand.
No, dude. He has his own theme. Don't keep trying to make it the fucking Nick Cave song.
But that's just what it is.
But it's not. I came up with an original tune, and you're trying to alter it.
Okay.
Bobby Hall said, I recently started watching your guys' show and have been binging all the episodes. You guys are great, and the show is awesome. Love the info, humor, stories, and everything else you do. Really enjoyed this interview with Matthew. He's such a cool, down-to-earth guy, and both of you are as well. I have a question for Christopher about this movie you did called Halloween 2018. I heard that at some point, David Gordon Green and Danny McBride were toying the idea of having Halloween 2 being included in their new timeline. Do you know if that is true, and if so, why was it ignored? I imagine the main reason is that they wanted to do away with the sibling connection. Was wondering if you had any knowledge about this. Anyway, thanks to you both for doing a fantastic podcast.
Well, thank you for all the kudos. I appreciate that. No, that's never heard anything about that. Nope.
They just always pretty much disregarded part 2. That was...
Yeah. No, I never heard anything about that, ever. And if there was, I wasn't privy to it, so...
MN Creation said, great episode as always, Mr. Nelson. Please don't quit any or all of your social media. It would be a loss for us fans and people that are inspired by you. Please keep up the awesome work and stay safe.
Thank you. I'm getting close, though. I'm this close.
Your words mean nothing to him, is what he's trying to say. Candace Janice, I got mentioned 2 weeks in a row. My heart is singing right now. You guys are so great. Thank you for the mention. I promise one day I'll actually have a question, LOL.
Waiting for that question.
Yeah, any day now.
It's a question. Any day now. We'll just sit here waiting.
Fonzo13 said, another great episode, guys. I get so excited when I get a notification of a new episode. Matthew is such a great and genuine guy. I was looking forward to meeting him this year at Monsterpalooza, but sadly that did not happen. Hopefully soon. My question for you guys is, will you ever have Chris as a guest on Horror's Hallowed Grounds? Can we see Chris at work adding prosthetics to Sean, making him into a zombie or something, or invite Chris to your tasting food channel?
Wow.
Keep up the great work, guys. Stay safe. How about this? We will go to a famous horror location, have Chris do a zombie makeup on me while I try new Pop-Tarts.
There you go.
So
That's a show. That's
the new show. That's what the next show will be.
Yeah. You're going to come here. I'll do a makeup. We'll go to a location while we eat.
Yeah. Mark Durbus said, love the show. Thanks so much for taking the time to answer questions. I have a question for both of you. Did you see My Bloody Valentine 1981 in the theater when it first came out? It is one of my guilty pleasures and would love to hear both of your experiences seeing it for the first time, even if it was on home video or television as well, and your overall thoughts on the film. He also asks about George Mihalka's original sequel idea of having the mine turned into an amusement park that never came to fruition and what we thought of that. I'd never heard of that.
I haven't either. No.
But that sounds actually kind of neat. Oh, he also has a shameless plug for his podcast called Horror Heads, if I wouldn't mind giving it a shout out. So I didn't want to leave that out. My Bloody Valentine, the original?
I did see it in the theater when it came out. I remember going into it. I was expecting something. It's a Canadian movie, right?
Yeah.
I was expecting something so different, only because I was influenced by all the other movies that had come out at that point, Friday the Halloween and stuff like that. I liked it. I thought it was cool. It was fun. I rewatched it recently. It was on, and I watched it, and I liked it actually better recently than I did when I first saw it. Only because when I first saw it, I was really hardcore and like, man, this movie is not as good as, and I was comparing it to stuff. But it was fun. I don't mind it. Fell into that whole world of April Fool's Day and fucking I like the idea of it more than I like the movie. So.
I'm a big fan of the movie. I did not see it in the theater. I had Select TV, which was there was three services back in the day before cable. It was the Z channel, Select TV, and On TV. I had Select TV.
Yeah.
I have the guide for. I've sought out these with the actual ad from when I saw it. Sunday, October 31st, 1982. That's when I saw it on Select TV in Stanton, California, in my house. Freaked out.
That's badass.
Yeah.
I saw Exorcist on TV. My
On?
mother had On TV, so I saw it.
My buddy Tony Herdica that lived across the street had On TV. I had Select TV, so we'd go to each other's houses when the other service had a cool movie.
Right.
I remember I watched The Cat from Outer Space at his house. I don't know why that sticks in my head, but I did. It was a big deal. We're like, The Cat from Outer Space is coming on. Thrash Puppy 2010 said, what's going on with Horror Hound magazine? I don't really know what the reference of the question is.
I don't either.
They're putting out magazines? I guess that's what's going on.
See, when I read that, and I was like, is he referring to like all the horse shit that was going on around Fangoria, and he's confusing it?
I don't know. Because Horror Hound hasn't gone anywhere. They're still putting out issues. Mm-hmm. They're new. In fact, I showed their latest issue in the last episode, I believe.
You did, yes.
So ain't nothing. Ain't nothing going on with them. Business as usual with Horror Hound magazine. The only thing that's been different is no Horror Hound conventions because of COVID. If anything, this has given them time to. They've been launching some their digital platform, and they just did a virtual film festival last weekend. They just put out their own Horror Hound hot sauce, so they're doing stuff. Yeah, they're doing stuff. Scott Batchelor said, "Sean, use Chassis Man care, protect the boys." I heard about this Chassis Man. It's being highly recommended, so I'm going to look into that one. You know what? If you guys, another thing, people have been asking. They've been posting where they can send stuff. If you guys want to send me ball powder, feel free. I'll put the address back down.
I don't want any. Don't send it to me.
Send Chris ball powder.
I don't need it.
Change his life. Send him some ball powder.
Oh, God.
All right. Eric Eltringham said, Sean, your Halloween 3 bringing the Rob Zombie and original together is absolutely brilliant. Yeah! 3 exclamation marks. Make sure Officer Francis has a lead role in the film. Boy, you just like took it in another direction.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Officer Francis.
I know. Come on now. It's all for you, Demon. Oh yeah. Wonderful episode, but I'm now scared that my boys are in jeopardy due to my daily addiction to so refreshing sprinkle of Gold Bond. Sean, my friends and I are headed to California next spring to do a proper location hunt for Phantom of the Park. My previous attempt was during the ice age of digital cameras and downloads. This movie is in my DNA. I'm not ashamed, nor ever apologize for claiming my friends and I are the world's greatest Kiss Meets a Phantom fans. I would love to listen to you talk this film one day, goulash or not. Ha, take care. My friends, thank you for all you do. Oddly enough, I'm planning on doing a Phantom of the Park Horrors Hallowed Grounds. I actually asked John 5 from Rob Zombie's band if he wanted to do it with me. He said yes. So
didn't ask me. Thanks for not asking.
You could come with John and I. We need somebody to hold the camera.
Fuck you. I love Phantom of the Park, man.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that movie. You have to go to Magic Mountain.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I have a friend of mine who's in that movie.
What part?
I think her dad directed it or something. I think
dude,
I think he did. He did something.
Are you still friends with her?
Oh yeah.
You need to find out if her dad directed it. We need to get him on the fucking show. Talk about Phantom of the Park.
She was in the pyramid at the very beginning of the movie where cameras like getting shots of like people being in the park and having fun and all that stuff. There's this human pyramid thing going on where people are doing shenanigans and having fun. She's on the top of the pyramid, or she's in the pyramid.
Rye Guy 1988 said, hey dudes, love you guys, man. Respect the hell out of what you both do respectively in your own right. I was just wondering if you guys read comments and questions at random or have any certain kind of order to it. More curious than anything is all. I mean, we both read them, but yes, we don't read all of them on the show now because we don't have time. There's just too many. But he said he's a huge music guy. I wanted to know if either of us were blues fans because he's a huge Stevie Ray Vaughan fan, and if we liked Stevie Ray Vaughan at all. He also touched on the fact that he played on the Let's Dance album, Bowie.
Yes,
I
knew that.
I'm not a big blues guy at all. I respect the hell out of Stevie Ray Vaughan, and I actually liked Stevie Ray Vaughan, but I'm not a big blues guy. Chris?
I like super old blues stuff.
Listening to this blues music reminds me of my own trials and tribulations as a young guy.
But when it comes to Stevie Ray Vaughan, yes, I was a Stevie Ray Vaughan fan. I saw him many times, actually, before he died. Saw him probably at least 4 or 5 times. Once at the Greek, which was amazing. I saw him at the Greek Theater, which was amazing. But I like Stevie Ray Vaughan. That guy's a badass. And as I get older and I go back and listen to Stevie Ray Vaughan, you're just like, really? What the? That guy was an alien. Like, he was so good. But yeah, I like Stevie Ray Vaughan. Yeah.
Anastasia Garrett said, awesome episode, guys. You gentlemen are completely right in that so many people do not seem to know how to interact with each other without being rude or condescending. There's an entire generation out here that has not developed basic social skills. Even worse, they don't think they need to learn them. There's no accountability while hiding behind a keyboard anonymously. Horror fans do not seem to fall into that category. However, for the most part, we are respectful, courteous, and kind. People could learn a lot from our community. I do think that horror fans in general are cooler people. I do comic cons and I do horror cons, and there's definitely a difference between the type of personality. Although there are plenty of horror fans that lack social skills. But overall, I think they're cooler people, yes.
I would hate to categorize people like that, but in either realm, there are people on the spectrum. I think the common language of horror people is different than the common language of superhero people. You know, it's a different language that is common. I think you either understand one or the other, or if you're lucky, both.
Sean Smith said, "Hi, Chris and Sean. Have you watched The Dark Knight and the new Joker movie? And if you have, what do you think of Heath Ledger and Joaquin Phoenix's performance? Big fan from Denmark." Got people in Denmark watching. Bro.
Denmark. Love Denmark. Yeah, I've seen both those movies many times, actually. I'm a huge fan of the recent Joker film. Huge fan. I think it's awesome. I wouldn't compare the two. I think they're apples and oranges. I think they're so vastly different. I love Heath Ledger's Joker. I love it. I think it's awesome. I think it's so cool. But it lives within the context of the story that Christopher Nolan was telling. I think it's great. I love it. But I love the Joker. I love the new Joker thing. I love, people gave it a hard time because it was like, oh, it's Taxi Driver. I'm okay with that. If you're going to emulate anything, Taxi Driver is a good thing to emulate. So
it was a little more king of comedy, Yeah,
that too. Yeah, it was very Scorsese. Yeah. You could say it, but I love them both. I don't rate them. I don't think one's better than the other. I just think they live in two different worlds, and I love them both.
But at the end of the day, we know Chris's favorite is Suicide Squad.
Oh, fuck.
Well, you won an Academy Award for it. You're not going to back up your boy Jared? Come on. Now, I liked Heath's performance. I liked Joaquin's performance. I thought Heath's was a better film. It's more entertaining. I thought the Joaquin Phoenix film was a good film. I just personally don't think it has a lot of replay value for me. It's not something I want to sit through again, really. It's
funny you say that because every time I watch it, I find something new.
I think I'll watch Possession tonight instead. Let's see.
Or Street Trash.
Calm Down Rich. We've heard him.
Calm Down Rich.
Looking forward to part 2 with Matthew Lillard. I always remember looking back at the Laserdisc scene in SLC Punk and thinking that was me, trying to explain it to my friends. It seemed like it took forever to get them out of their pan-scan mentality and into the world of widescreen. Do you remember the first Letterboxd movie you saw on the old tube at home? For me, I think it was Michael Mann's The Last of the Mohicans. It's funny. I'm trying to think what the first Letterboxd movie I saw. I mean, I was a big Laserdisc guy.
Yeah, me too.
And I was way into the widescreen thing. And it's funny, I have some stories. If you look on my channel here, I posted a Q&A from the Zombie Jamboree in 1993 where I stand up and actually ask George Romero a question about widescreen. And he kind of shit all over widescreen.
Oh, that's funny.
And I also remember asking at a Q&A in the early 90s, I said to William Friedkin, "Are you ever going to release a widescreen version of The Exorcist?" And he goes, "It wasn't shot in widescreen." And he just dismissed me. And then it came out in widescreen years later. Hey, dude, he was just a jerk.
It wasn't shot in widescreen. Of course it was.
He just dismissed me. It wasn't shot in widescreen. That's what he said.
William Friedkin?
Yeah.
The only movie that I ever quit in my career was a William Friedkin movie.
Which one?
It was with Benicio del Toro and Tommy Lee Jones. Oh, I can't believe I can't remember what it was called. Probably because I quit. It was the only movie I ever quit, and I was so excited to be working with William Friedkin because I was a huge Friedkin fan. The Hunted. Hunted, yeah. I just, see, right when you said that, I knew it.
I stood up and asked the question in the Q&A. I remember it was for a screening of the movie Blue Chips, the Shaq movie.
Yeah.
It was the first time he had ever made an appearance, to my knowledge. It was early 90s. I only went because William Friedkin was going to be there.
Yeah.
And, yeah, that was his response, was it wasn't shot in widescreen. Then somebody else asked about the spider crawl scene.
Shot in widescreen.
I know. It was 185, I know. But another fan asked about the spider crawl scene, and he said that was never shot. So he lied about both things. So whatever. Apparently, he just was grumpy about talking about The Exorcist when he's trying.
Yeah, he doesn't want to talk about that.
The shitty basketball movie. All right.
So what was the first is the question? What's the first widescreen that we watched at home? Are you saying at home? Like,
yeah, at home on Laserdisc, like, where we got out a pan scan. I
think one of the first Laserdiscs I ever got was The Thing.
I don't know. I can't remember. I know Halloween was one of the first ones at home because I was.
Yeah. I think mine was The Thing. That was like one of the very first things I ever got.
But that really changed my life for sure. The whole widescreen thing. I went nuts.
Oh, yeah.
Sawyer Smoke said, who released Tourist Trap on Blu-ray? Missed that one. It was Full Moon Entertainment. You can buy it from their website. Luke Swigart said, hey, Sean, was curious how you got involved in the Fireball Ministry music. May and I went and did it, and it was fun. It's a great video. Great song, too. I like the band Fireball Ministry a great deal. I've become good friends with the bass player, Scott, who was also in that band, Caius. Super nice guy. Kevin Reynolds, nice Blu-ray, Sean. 315 and Death Wish 3 are primo 80s action flicks. Besides Scream Factory, what are some of your favorite video labels, and have any of them reached out to you to do special features for their films? I've actually put the bug in Arrow's ear several times that I would love to do stuff for them. Synapse puts out good stuff. Sammy Hain said, here's a fun question for you guys. How did you come up with your signature hairstyle?
For you.
Well, no, she said, here's a fun question for you guys. How did you come up with your signature hairstyle, Sean? Well, how's that a question for us guys?
It's not. It's for you.
No, I don't.
How did you come up with your signature hairstyle, Sean?
I don't know. I guess this started going like this because my old hairstylist, a guy named Ryan Shook, who's ended up being a guitar player in Orgy and Dead by Sunrise and Julian K. Now sings for Edema as well as still being in Julian K. He started cutting my hair like this, and I don't know if he meant it to look just like this, but when I styled it, it kind of did this, and it worked, and I just stuck with it. And I tried to change it once. I'll even put up a picture because it'll be embarrassing but funny. Where I tried to do bangs at one point and parted on the side. And it's so funny, dude, how people won't tell you the truth. Because people, I'd be like, people be like, when it comes
to hair, no one's ever going to tell you the truth.
Because they'd be like this. They'd be like, no, dude, it looks good. It looks, yeah. And then I changed it back and it's like, dude, yeah, I'm so glad. Dude, that hairstyle, whoa, bro. Yeah, did not work. And it's like, thanks.
It's like when you get divorced from a woman and they go, thank God you got divorced from her because she was killing you. Yeah. Even though during the entire relationship they were like, oh, no, I really like her. I love her. No, she's great.
No. But the thing with this is, unfortunately, it has kind of become a signature. But honestly, it's a super easy, takes me 2 minutes to do. It's not really anything trying to have style. It's more just, it's easy. It's real easy. Danny Donata.
Hey!
What's up, fellas? What's up, fellas? And the beat goes on. You guys got the beat. Psyched for today's show. Woo! Ric Flair excitement. Chris, the story of hitting a home run and going to see the movie, I can relate. Playing hockey, getting a hat trick under the same circumstances, and having my sister take me to see Candyman. I was 12. Sick. Max Mercury said the Batman was for me, because we weren't sure who the Batman was from. It was from Max Mercury. Yeah. He said that he shipped it straight from the cellar. He's Amigo fan. Sorry it wasn't a vintage one, but he's only so rich. Take it out, play with it. That's a little personal. Take it out, play with it.
But it is take it out, play with it.
That's what it's for. Okay. That's not
what God says. No, it doesn't have to be Amigo, buddy. And I will take it out. I will play with it. And thank you, Max Mercury. That's a badass name, Max Mercury. Kind of reminds me of Freddie Mercury. It's like
that's
Mercury is just a cool thing.
And he said, and Sean, what can I get for the man who has everything? I've seen your collection, and I weep with humility.
That's true, You said, you're one of those guys that, like, what do you buy that guy? Like, he has everything.
You know what's funny is my buddy Lawton, one of my best friends, I just got a package today for my birthday. And I pull out the slip. It was, like, direct from, like, Amazon or something, and it said, I hope you don't already have this. And it's the new Psychedelic Furs record. And I'm like, not only did I post about getting that record a couple weeks ago, He's the guy that talked me into doing fucking Discogs.
Ah.
And it's like, bro, why didn't you check my Discogs? Because
Ah.
I listed it that I have it, but I love you, Lawton, and I appreciate it, and I appreciate you, but yeah, now I have 2
Well,
copies.
I got you something that I don't think you have.
Okay, we'll see.
I hope.
We'll see. Cody Yates.
Cody Yates.
Yeah, remember, Cody Yates likes us saying his name. Cody Yates.
Of course
Cody
I do.
Yates.
Cody Yates.
Y'all
Good
nailed
name.
it again, man. I have to admit, I mostly checked out of mainstream horror in the 90s. I always thought what I saw of his Shaggy performance was amazing, but I was too old for these movies when they came out, so I never saw much of Matthew Lillard in his heyday. I was super impressed at how down-to-earth he seems. Also, I worked at a Miller's Outpost in 1990 and 91. My only memories are Ice Ice Baby being played several times an hour over the PA and lots of kids coming in for hammer pants. Zuba's weightlifting pants was as close as we got.
That's awesome. That's the best part of this whole night.
Anyway, he's looking forward to talking Reanimator and From Beyond with Jeffrey Combs. So,
yes.
We got this one. Did you see the one fucking comment from this guy that just put Turtle Michael Myers?
Yes.
What the fuck's that?
It's because when we were talking about Halloween, I was doing
this.
I
Turtle.
did this.
Okay.
It's the turtle. I think
that's from Moctezuma Vargas.
Yeah.
Turtle Michael Myers. That's all he says.
Yeah.
Jessica V, 1987. Sean, I really thought that your Halloween 3 idea is good. Your idea sounds better than a lot of movies come out since zombies movies. I really enjoy you guys, and all your conversations are interesting, and it was awesome to see you guys on We Watched a Movie channel. Love that you guys did that, and wish more horror-based channels would do that as well. Matthew Lillard should have been bigger. He's such a good actor, and the best live action Shaggy. Thank you. And another girl. Nice. Another girl. We have plenty of female. We have a female presence now. We don't have to. Yeah. We don't have to shout out to, but we will, because we appreciate you being here. Cliff Harris said, Chris, off the top of your head, what are a few horror novels you would highly recommend someone to check out? Sean, what's one of the best and worst experiences you've ever had at a convention? As always, I appreciate the time and effort you both put into these episodes. Chris, horror novel recommendations? There was a book that I read some time ago. I believe it was called Coco. Did they make a Pixar movie of that? No. No, they did not. I think it was KOKO. Okay. And that was a really good horror novel. Look that up. Anything Stephen King I'm into. The novel of The Shining is fantastic if you can take yourself out of the film. We plugged it on a recent show, but The Living Dead, the novel that came out by George Romero recently, is really good. Now, as I've said before, I'm not the biggest reader, but when I was... No, you are not. I was a huge fan of Clive Barker's Books of Blood. Clive Barker, yeah. Sure. I really love those. Answer your question about best and worst experiences I've ever had at a convention. I can tell you what one of the worst was. I got food poisoning in Buffalo Wild Wings. We went to Buffalo Wild Wings, and then we went to the movies. This was in New Jersey. We were there for a Walker Stalker convention. Probably would have been Friday night because the movie would have just opened. So the convention was Saturday, Sunday. So we went Buffalo Wild Wings, and then we went to see Krampus. And I sat in the theater, just my stomach churning and me just getting sicker and sicker. And I stuck it out through the whole movie, went straight into the bathroom and just immediately started hurling. And the next day I did everything I could to try to, because I was working with Norman Reedus that weekend, and I got the table set up and I got there and I just couldn't do it. And I had to get the girls that work with me cover me. People were like going, dude, you look green, dude. And I threw up for the next 2 days. I mean, Monday morning when it came time to take the flight home, I finally was starting to not throw up. It was brutal. Wow. As far as best experience, I don't know. The Jamie Lee Curtis thing was pretty great. I mean, as far as just the achievement. Beeford Smith said, dudes, I said it before, you're seriously killing it. Best horror podcast out there. Question for you both. What is your favorite horror comedy? Mine has to be Joe Dante's The Burbs. Bruce Dern is hilarious in it. And it's also one that I endlessly quote in real life. Would love to hear your thoughts on it if you've seen it. Thanks once again. Rock on. I like The Burbs. It's funny. The Burbs I just recently revisited because I hadn't seen it in forever. And I appreciated it more now than I did back in the day. It's funny, and it's actually one of the few movies that I don't find Corey Feldman annoying in.
That's true. Yeah.
Although I have to say, Rick Dukeman is pretty annoying in that movie.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's the worst part of the movie.
Yeah. Other than that, I love Courtney Gaines is great in it, and Courtney's a friend, and he's so creepy in it, and just the way he plays it, just so like
I cannot say enough good things about The Burbs. I love The Burbs. It's one of my favorite movies. It's actually a comfort movie for me. You know those movies that when you're really sick, let's say you have the flu and you're stuck in bed or whatever it is, and you need to just check out of being so sick. The Burbs is one of those movies for me. And I love that movie so much. I know it so well. I love everything about it. I quote it on almost on a daily basis. Like it's been parked outside of the house all day. Like there's so much good stuff in that movie, and it's quintessential Joe Dante. Like I'm so influenced by the look of that film actually, and I'm surprised at how many films at the point that movie, when it came out onward, how influential that the look of that movie was. And I don't think a lot of people get that. But I love The Burbs. It's comfort food. It's like eating meatloaf and mashed potatoes for me. It's like, I love this movie. So,
do you have a favorite horror comedy?
That's one. I gotta say, The Burbs definitely is right up there. American Werewolf in London, to me, is considered. I consider that a horror comedy. I love American Werewolf in London. The obvious Shaun of the Dead is.
That's the one I was gonna say.
Right up there. I'd say those are my top three, actually.
I would go with
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I guess it's horror. It's horror comedy. Yeah. Shaun of the Dead, American Werewolf, and I even though this is a really dark comedy, I gotta go American Psycho. That movie fucking cracks me up so much every time. That Christian Bale's performance in that it's just so.
I never actually consider that a comedy, oddly enough.
Oh God!
But I guess you
come
could.
on,
you could.
I mean, just the bathroom scene where he's like, Patrick, why now? Why here? And he's just like, I got to return some videotapes. It's just, I mean,
there's a movie that I think is one of the most genius movies ever made, and no one has seen it. It's called Neighbors.
Oh yeah, love that movie. I just
Dan
watched
Aykroyd
it again recently.
John Belushi. It's one of the most genius films ever made, and I consider that a horror comedy.
No, it is. It's just not
it
that well known.
It's not well known. I think it's hard to get, isn't it? Really hard. I don't think
it's ever been released on DVD or Blu-ray.
See Neighbors. It's fucking genius.
Yeah,
it's one of my favorite films of all time. Actually, it's just great.
Gabe KOKLA. That's the radio station Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2.
Yes.
Hey, Sean and Chris, quick question. Are you and Chris cool with fans respectively approaching you in public to say hello, or would you both rather be left alone? I met Burt Young 2 years ago at the Hamburger Hamlet. I wrote a note to him thanking him for his memories and asked the waitress to deliver it to him. I didn't want to disturb his meal. He called me over to his table, shook my hand, and was the sweetest dude ever. Do not approach Chris or I if you ever see us in public. No.
Never look me in the eye.
Yeah,
Never.
No, yeah. If you look Chris in the eye, it's gonna. Yeah, absolutely come up to us in public and say hello, and
I'm no Burt Young. Burt Young is a badass. I actually worked with Burt Young once.
He's awesome.
He is awesome.
What'd you work with him on?
Outer Limits.
That's rad.
TV series Outer Limits.
One of my favorite Burt Young lines is Amityville 2: The Possession.
I love that movie.
Love that. My favorite Amityville.
Love that movie.
When he comes outside and he goes, I got a 12-gauge shotgun right in here for anybody trespassing.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's such a dick in that movie, too.
He's such a
wife
dick.
And
such an asshole. Yeah. What was the question? What?
Oh, can
they
approached?
come up to? Yeah, absolutely, man. I don't know. It depends on my mood. You know,
I have
I'm a moody son of a bitch. So
here's the thing with me. I'm in a position. I'm grateful anybody gives a shit. So,
yeah, exactly.
And I get messages from people going, "Oh, I saw you at the convention. I didn't want to bother you." It's like, dude, just fucking come up and say hi. I'm not.
Yeah,
you know.
Totally. I wouldn't know why anyone would want to talk to me in the first place. I'm right there with you.
I hear that.
But if you want to, yeah, man, come up, say hi. I'm all for it. Yeah.
Speaking of Burt Young, more important things. Burt Young. Did you hear that this new director's cut of Rocky IV that's coming out, that Stallone's putting out like an extended director's cut of Rocky IV, but he's cutting the Burt Young's robot scene?
Is he?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's stupid.
That's stupid. That's like one of the funniest fucking parts of the movie.
It's fucking stupid, though. It is stupid.
But it's awesome. Like happy birthday, Polly.
He's cutting it out.
It's happy birthday, Polly. Like, do you know how many me and my friends quote that? Happy birthday,
At
Polly.
least 2?
More than that, because we're all nerds. But yeah.
Okay. Well, let's get to more important things, like Matthew Lillard Part 2. Oh, should I? Oh, did I hit record on this?
Oh, fuck off.
I do that every time now. It's the running joke. All right. So Matthew Lillard Part 2, thing with 3 heads. See you guys later.
Good night, everybody.
So we got 2 people that had 2 similar questions. So I'm going to kind of combine them. It was Jimmy LeCrompt wanted to know what it was like working with Skate Master Tate, and if you had any fond memories of Skate TV. And Frankie Carter wanted to know how Skate TV came about and who was your favorite skater. So they're both related to that.
Hilarious. First podcast in my entire life that anyone has ever asked about Skate TV.
See?
Skate
we are
TV
different.
We are different here. Again, we celebrate your entire catalog here.
Yes, we do.
This is as entire as it gets. Skate TV was a show on Nickelodeon called Skate TV, the only skateboarding show made by skaters for skaters. Stacy Peralta was the executive producer and director. And Skate Master Tate, God rest his soul, he passed away a couple of years ago. But he was sort of the skate entity to represent the real skaters. And I was like this American cheese, 6'4", 110-pound, like, you know, cute kid. So I was there to represent like the Nickelodeon set, and Tate was there to represent the real skaters. And so we did the show in like 3 days out at the Pink Motel, which you probably shot at, Chris. And they skated that pool for like 3 days. And in between skate sessions, we would do these interviews. And you know, and back then, I mean, look, this is like the beginning of skating. So it was like the who's who that you look back, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I interviewed Christian Hosoi, Nadas Kappas, you know, Tony Hawk, Steve Caballero, like all these sort of incredible, iconic skaters.
So you were a skater at this point. You were like,
I did skateboard. I wasn't I wasn't a skateboarder. Like I was the only one there hired to sort of like, if somebody from Nebraska tuned in and wanted to get involved in the skateboarding show, I was the dimply kid that was like, hey, Skate Master Tate, let's talk about some rad moves on the half pipe. I mean, it was like ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
That's awesome.
But it was like my first audition. So I like got this job on my first audition. And true story, I took my mom and my dad and my sister to Denny's. I took everyone to breakfast, and I said, look, here's the deal. I just got this job on Nickelodeon. Obviously, I'm going to be pretty big deal. We're going to have to go to Disneyland. This is a true story, by the way. We're going to have to go to Disneyland. I got the check, Dad. I got the check. I'll pick it up. We're going to have to go to Disneyland because once the show comes out, I'm going to be so famous, I will be mobbed at Disneyland. I was at Disneyland a year ago, and nobody gave a shit. 50 movies later, many TV shows, nobody cared. But there was an idea, like I really thought like being on a TV show would be would make you famous sort of overnight. And clearly it did not.
So did you have a favorite skater? That was
yeah, Nodus Copus, which is Satan backwards.
I know,
yeah. That's ridiculous. Really?
It's hilarious. He
real name though.
Is it true?
Nodus was his real name, I believe. Yeah, he was foreign, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's German.
Yeah.
He was passed out. So it was 6 a.m. call time. He was passed out in the parking lot. And he was like, I had to interview him. And I was like, what's the most gnarly trick you ever did? He's like, really, dude? That's the question you ask him? Gnarly trick? I mean, it was hilarious. But yeah, him being passed out in that parking lot. The true story, I think I made like probably $9,000. I mean, we did like 13 episodes. I probably made $9,000. I owed half of it, like just so everyone knows, like you only take half of a paycheck home because you pay your agent and the government, and you. So I probably took home $4,500.
Yeah.
I went out because I was sure that that this was making it, and I was going to be famous forever. Then I went out and I bought a pool table for my dad for Father's Day.
And how much was that pool table?
Like $3,000.
Okay.
And I owed them like $400. So I ended up at the end of like week one with like $100 in my pocket.
That is an awesome story. I love that story.
I'll tell you that pool table, I spent so many hours with my dad on that pool table. Yeah. Best $3,000 I ever spent.
Brett Patrick wanted to know if you enjoyed working with John Waters.
I love John Waters. John Waters was awesome. I saw John Waters at a con recently, actually. Him and Mink Stoll and Tracy Lords, we all hung out. He's lovely. He started my career, so he is like one of the touchstones of my life. He changed my life for real.
Were you familiar with John Waters before you worked with him?
So it's a great story. So I have a couple good stories about it, but I'll tell you this one. So I get the audition. I go on audition. It goes great. I go back. I brought my skateboard. In because I was riding my skateboard in New York City. And I brought my skateboard in. I had long hair. And he's like, do you ride that skateboard? I'm like, yeah. He's like, wow, you ride in the city? I'm like, yeah. We sort of had this connection point about the skateboard. And I had another callback on Monday, so final callback. And I knew that he had liked the skateboard the first time I brought the skateboard. So I brought the skateboard back on Monday. Even though it was raining, I never rode it. I mean, I got in a cab, and I had my skateboard, and I brought it in anyways. It's hilarious. But he fired another actor and hired me because he really liked me a lot. And he thought he was hiring an 18-year-old kid. He said, how old are you? Like I said, I'm 18. I was 22 at the time. And on the first day of shooting, he found out how old I really was, and he was so pissed.
Was he?
So angry. Like, you fucking told me you were 18. Because I had to fill out my paperwork, and that's when they all found out I wasn't.
Oh my God.
Super, super angry. But he was great. I mean, he was like, I love him. Oh, did I know John Waters? Sorry, I completely skipped your question. Okay. So I finally got the job in New York, and they didn't have internet. There was no Google searches. So I went to the library and I checked out a book about John Waters, and it was about him making Pink Flamingos.
Oh boy.
So now all of a sudden it was a biography. Right. So I'm reading his biography. It starts with John Waters has the largest collection of serial killer books in his living room. He has a used electric chair and plastic sushi in his living room. And I'm like, and a John Wayne Gacy. And I'm like, who is this guy? And then you're reading the book about how Divine ate real dog shit. And I'm like, what have I got myself into?
Right.
Because I walked in thinking, oh my God, this dude's going to be a monster. Cut to his house is beautiful. He has a little John Wayne Gacy it's framed.
Right.
And this, the electric chair was like, it looked like something out of Pottery Barn.
I'd
That's
heard
amazing.
I'd heard similar stories about like Crispin Glover's house, and I actually went to his house once, and yeah, it's pretty weird.
Doesn't he have like a gynecological table or something?
Yeah.
That's like the rumor. Yeah.
Yeah, that was there. He has an eyeball collection. One thing I thought was really interesting is if you look, like I was down like in the living room area, it's like a big cathedral type ceilings, but there was a door with like kind of railing coming out from the door that just kind of goes to just nothing, just falls like it was just strange. And one thing I remember about was I guess his mother lived there. I don't know if she still does. And this was back in like 2007. And he kept yelling up to his mother, "Mom, I'm busy," and I'm like, okay.
Don't you wish you could be that eccentric? I wish I could be that eccentric.
Paul Blake wants to know, what do you think you're most recognized for?
It just depends on where I'm at, right? If I'm in elementary school, it's Scooby-Doo. If I'm in a punk rock concert, it's
Time's up.
Gotta go. Like, it depends on where I'm at, right? If I'm walking down the street, it's Scream. If I'm at a convention, I mean, everyone comes up with different stuff. I mean, I do think I have a weird career because I've been around for so long that you're going to find something in my life that you associate me with, whether it's hackers or say hi to the a few more minutes. Why? I love you too, son. That's my son. Tell me he loves me. I've been a working actor for a long time, so people find different reasons to like. I mean, 25th anniversary of Hackers was last week, and sort of the amount of people that shout out Hackers is kind of crazy. So
Graham Denham wants to know. He'd like to know what it felt like the first time you actually saw Scream, and did you instantly feel great about it, knowing it was a special film?
No, I did not. Not at all. In fact, I don't remember.
I love that answer so much.
No, but I don't think anyone did. I mean, the movie came out on Christmas Day, and the box office was terrible. But I was dating Nev at the time, and we saw Marianne and Wes. They had a celebratory dinner at Wes's house. And it's like, we're celebrating the success. I'm like, it's not that successful. The numbers aren't that great. And they're like, the exit polls they've never seen anything like it. And that's sort of when you knew it was going to be a big hit.
John Conradi wants to know, what line is the most quoted to you by fans? And his ex-wife was so in love with you that she called him by your name in bed once. He didn't care.
Jesus.
No. Anyway.
That is the power of Matthew Lillard.
Yep,
it really is.
Probably quoted the most to me is, Hack the Planet. I hear a lot. I hear Hack the Planet a lot. But probably my mom and dad are going to be so mad at me. It's amazing how many times that line is screwed up. My mom and dad are going to kill me. My mom and dad and my sister are going to be so angry. I don't know if you know my mom and dad, but it's funny, the iterations of that line. You cut me too deep. I mean, there's a bunch of movies. There's a bunch of lines. In that. No, people don't say zoinks. People that come up to you say something about Scooby-Doo are few and far between. Unless they're kids, right? I mean, a kid will.
Amanda Moss wants to know which ghost from 13 Ghosts you were most afraid of.
The craft service ghost.
Well, the crazy thing about that movie, it was so hot. Talk about sweating. I mean, that was 10, there's 150, 10,000 watt bulb lights in a glass house. So all the ghosts were stinky. Because they all had like tons of Megabond and prosthetics. It was crazy. But the Juggernaut, we lost the Juggernaut halfway through. So there's two Juggernauts in the movie. Juggernaut just decided not to show up, and he never appeared again. So we had to replace him, which he was an enormous African-American man that they had built these prosthetic pieces for, and they had to find somebody else.
Do you remember anything about that, Chris? About
I
panicking at the shop?
No, I don't. I don't. I'm sure it was a matter of like, well, okay, we'll just put it on this other guy.
There's a guy named there's Ernst played Big Baby. Big Baby was pretty gross. I mean, he was a 500-pound dude, 6'6", 500 pounds.
Yeah,
he was pretty gnarly.
Jude Valor wants to know: were you really in the crowd in the Stabathon in Scream 4?
No, I was not.
So that's just a rumor.
Total lie.
But you were in Scream 2 in the party scene.
Yes. I walked through the back of one scene in Scream 2. I have every intention of being in multiple scenes in Scream 5.
Speaking of which.
Why don't they bring me back? Why don't they bring me back?
I would do it in a second. I was like, you have to bring that guy back.
Yes.
Do you
have to.
Do you have in your head your own theory as to how Stu could return?
Yeah, I mean, mutilated. Chris does a 3D scan of my face, and it's completely scarred and destroyed. But look, it's super easy. The truth of the matter is, I was supposed to be in Scream 3, and the premise of Scream 3 was, people know this, but I don't know if you guys know this. Scream 3 was supposed to be a collection of kids murdering other kids in high school. And a month before production started, Columbine High School happened tragically. Oh. And the idea was, the late reveal was that I was running these group of kids from after I got out of prison. But they canceled it for obvious reasons. Right. And I do think
you should be in Scream 5.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, or Scream 6.
Yeah.
I mean, is it weird they're making Scream 5? Does anyone else think it's weird that they're doing without Wes?
I do. I don't think they should bother, but that's just my opinion.
Look how long they've been making Halloweens without John Carpenter.
Well, that's true.
You're right. Yeah, but every time it's a different cast, they keep rebooting. Same cast.
Well,
it's all about that.
It's about that.
I would like some of that. I would like to be in Scream 5.
Sean Moriarty wants to know what it was like working with Sir Patrick Stewart in Match.
The best. He's the best. There's a scene in the movie where Match is a very tiny movie. It's a 3-hand. It's an adaptation of a play by Stephen Bell. It's me, Carla Gugino, and Sir Patrick Stewart. And so, and I play a guy who has some real issues. And at some point, I get in his face, and I go off about him being gay, and I'm like screaming in his face. I think I'm calling him like the F word, faggot. I think I'm calling him, like I'm screaming in his face. I've got him, and I'm throwing him against the wall, and I'm spitting. And they cut, and he looked at Carla, who's in the scene, and said, "That is." He said that is American cinema acting. I was like crying and screaming, and and I'll never forget it. And I love him. I adore him. I adore working with him. I would do anything for him.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. That's a great story.
I'll never forget it. And he would sit and tell stories and talk about when he was coming up and the actor he was and in his youth. And I just love both of them. I love that whole experience. It's like, little movies.
Yeah. Those are the best ones.
Yeah.
The little ones, the more heartfelt ones are the best ones. It's the big ones that I'm like, nah.
Matthew Clark, no relation, wants to know if you have any memorable moments that stand out that you could share working with Wes.
I do. I tell this story at cons. I mean, look, back then, there was only one phone. There was only one cellular phone on set, and I needed to call it was my mom's birthday, I think, And I went to Wes, and and Marianne were outside talking. Marianne's the executive producer and his right-hand woman for a long time. And we were at the house, and we were in the middle of shooting the end sequence. And I went out, and it was dusk. And I said, can I borrow the phone? I need to call my mom. It's her birthday. Do you mind if I borrow the set phone? It's hilarious, right? And and he's like, yeah. He's like, your ears must be burning. We were just talking about you. I was like, oh, yeah, what were we saying? And he's like, he said, I was just telling Marianne, someday you're going to win an Academy Award. And I was like, oh, really? Why don't you tell my mom that? He's like, call her. So I called my mom. I'm like, Mom, hold on a sec. Wes Craven wants to say hi. And Wes got on the phone. I was like, I just want to call and tell you that someday your son will win an Academy Award. And, you know, in my career, look, my career has had ebbs and flows. I had a year where I didn't work. I thought I would never work again. We used to have a big fancy house, and we were put in a situation where we had to sell everything and sort of downsize our life and start rebuilding because I wasn't working. I mean, after Scooby-Doo 2, I was persona non grata in this industry because, you know, I don't know. I mean, people did not respect Scooby-Doo as a performance, and you know, I was held accountable for, you know, what they deemed as a shitty movie. And so, you know, it was a hard slog to come back. And look, we all know actors that just never get that chance to come back. I mean, you could do a big role and just never ever be seen from or heard from again. And look, if I was going to be, you know, starting the first question, like, what would you do if you weren't acting? Like, I don't have an answer. I don't have any other skill. I can't, you know, I don't know what else I would do. I mean, my father-in-law said to me, you know, if you sold pharmaceuticals, you make a lot of money because you're very charming. I was like, you know, I've been in like 30 movies. Like, I don't, you just don't walk away and do pharmaceutical sales. But at the same time, nobody wanted to. Like, no, this industry did not want me in any way, shape, or form. And, you know, it's humiliating. There's like a real reckoning in your life where you're like, oh, I may never make another movie again. I may never act again. So what do we do? Like, what do you do? And, you know, in those dark moments of like crisis and like fear and insecurity, like that moment with Wes Craven saying that you will someday win an Academy Award is the kind of thing that makes you say, oh, wait, I don't want to sell pharmaceuticals. I want to win an Academy Award.
Well, what was the role that kind of brought you back? Because, I mean, obviously you've been working pretty steadily. So what was the thing?
Yeah. I got a job. I mean, on my 40th birthday, I got Descendents with George Clooney.
I've been wanting to bring that up this entire conversation and just say that I thought that, honestly, I know it's not a huge role, but I thought that role, when I saw you in that movie, because I really like that movie, when I saw you in that, I was like, that's what that guy should be doing all the time. That guy, and that really honestly solidified the fact how much of a badass actor you were. I thought you were amazing in it.
Thank you.
And I think, and that just made me go, fuck, that guy's a badass. He needs to be doing more of that shit, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, look, I mean, that's, you know, it's, that role wasn't big. I didn't make a lot of money, but it gave me street cred again.
Yeah.
Sort of like start building.
Because you
back.
killed it. Not only because of the movie, and you could take away the George Clooney and all of it all and everything. You were really good in that movie. Like you killed it, and that's why you got the street cred. Not because of any other reasons. That it was a quote unquote respectable non-genre movie, but you brought it. It was really good.
Yeah, look, I love that movie. The movie is the best movie I've ever done, bar none. I mean, it's just, if you watch that movie, it's incredible.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm proud to be a part of it.
It's funny because I think you brought it up in the questions you always get asked. And I have two different people that have asked it. And it's funny, I've never heard you ask this question, so I don't know the answer. But it is in regards to, it's David Phillips said it, and so did Brandon Gregory are asking that in Scream that you had said you were wearing the Ghostface costume behind Jamie Kennedy when he's on the couch watching Halloween, and then Skeet Ulrich said, in fact, that he was the one wearing the costume in that scene. Who actually wore it?
I think it was me. He thinks it was him.
you?
I think it was both of us. I think we both got in it that day. Because there's multiple angles. So I think that we both jumped in it. I don't remember. I mean, I definitely was in it, but I don't remember Ski getting in it. Yeah.
So it was you.
It was you. It was him.
Yeah, I think it was. I mean, I honestly think it was both of us. I mean, I know we both got on it. We both got in it. I mean, we both thought it'd be funny to put it on. It was the only time that either one of us cared enough to put it on. Because that dude's running around and sweating. And,
right. Yeah.
Damien Leone, he's actually a director, writer-director, and special effects artist. He did the movie Terrifier with Art the Clown.
Yeah.
And he'll probably be a guest on one of our future episodes. He has a question for Matt. He wants to know that he said he heard that you had improv'd a lot of the classic Stu lines in Scream that Wes Craven loved. Can you talk about any of that? Did you improv any of those?
Yeah, he loved getting different stuff. He just wanted options in the editing. And Skeet hit me with the phone, and so I said, "You hit me with the phone, you fucking dick." So it was like he just liked all that energy, and he liked when I was improvising and kept it. I mean, he would do whatever you want now, and so I would end up improvising stuff. So, he I think at that moment in my life, I was good at improvs. I always brought stuff in. I always had stuff up my sleeve. I always had, as a young actor, I was always 4th, 5th, or 6th on the call sheet. So I would always try to come up with stuff that would be fun or funny or little lotsies that the director would want so that I would get in the movie more. Right? I had the hustle. I was like trying to be a star, and the way you do that is by bringing more juice to the game. And so I always came with stuff, and Wes loved it.
Jerry Roth wanted to know if you had any good stories from Wing Commander.
Yeah, it was Freddie Prinze Jr.'s in my first movie. We went on to do 6 movies together, and we shot in Luxembourg, and we were inseparable. I mean, he and I spent every day together the entire time we were in Luxembourg. And these 2 little kids running around with this rental car, eating cheese and bresaola. I mean, it was hilarious because we played video games nonstop. It was hilarious, and we bought Rolexes. I mean, I literally bought a Rolex because that was the era of wave your rollie in the sky, wave side to side. And
How old were you during that? How old were you?
28 maybe.
So 28 in Luxembourg, being full on paid in this movie, running around being a crazy person.
Running around, we weren't doing anything. We were playing video games and eating cheese and dried meat. I mean, that was it. I mean, I had a girlfriend at the time. I had this thing where I was making art for her. I was making the art, sending her art and painting things. It was very dramatic.
That's amazing.
All right.
So Freddie and I were good friends. I mean, that's what I remember. My favorite line in any movie I've ever said ever was in Wing Commander.
Which was?
This moment, first of all, just so everyone's out there knows, I want to do a big movie. I just love doing big movies. I want to be in a space movie. I want to be in Guardians of the Galaxy. I want to be on Star Trek, the New Jersey. I want to do I want to do it all.
Come on, Chris, get him in Guardians 3.
I'm already on it. I'm on it.
Well, James and I are friends, and he knows desperately that I want to be on it.
Yeah, you should be.
I would love to bring it up because I'm ready.
Okay.
In that movie, I literally go, I wheel in and I scream, "I'm on it!
I'm on it.
I'm on it!" And I'm turning knobs. I'm on it. I'm on it. I say it to my kids all the time. Dad, we're going to dinner. I'm on it.
Joshua Church would like to know, what is your most memorable acting moment, one that you just knew that you had nailed it and were immediately proud of? Maybe you just said it.
No, that is not it. It's a great question. Thank you for all these questions. They're really lovely to have questions that haven't been asked a million times. One of the scenes I'm most proud of in my life is in a movie called SLC Punk.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
somebody said, what movie are you most recognized for? And I would say the SLC Punk. If I'm walking down the street and I'll see a LGBTQ kid or a punk rock kid or a little metal kid, they'll be like, dude, SLC Punk changed my life. And I think that of all the films I've ever done, that's the one that's impacted the most people in a dramatic way. Like, people love Scream, sure, Wing Commander, whatever. Hackers, okay. But SLC Punk had the ability to have you to be seen. Like, a punk rock kid was reflected on screen. And for a lot of kids back then, that just never was the case. And so for me, that's the movie I'm certainly most proud of. It's also the only movie in my life, not the only movie, but one of the few movies in my life where I was the lead. I didn't get a lot of leads. I got a lot of secondary parts or third parts, but that was the movie that I carried. And there's a moment in the movie where I find my friend Heroin Bob has passed away, and I find him in this. I come downstairs in the morning and I find him dead, and we did it as a take right before we went to lunch, and I faked my way through it. And it was a horrible experience because I was like fake crying because I in my mind's eye, I was like, he finds him and breaks down crying. And I just didn't have it. It wasn't in a place. I didn't have technique at that point in my life. I was like 28 years old, 27 years old. I didn't have enough technique or enough maturity in my craft to know what to do to get myself in that place. And so everyone went to lunch, and I was in this really weird, we shot in like a warehouse, and I was in this freezing cold room, and I spent the entire lunch doing these improv moments where I very clearly have this clear memory of speaking to my dad. My dad had this great moment in his life, and we got in a fight about something, and I ended up working through the moment in improv and getting myself into like a really highly emotional place. And then they came back from lunch and we did one take, and it was, 10,000 foot bag. And I came down the stairs and I found him, and I started speaking out loud, and I just kept improvising until I cracked. And once I started to cry, I couldn't stop crying. And we rolled through that entire mag. And by the end of it, I was uncontrollably sobbing. The entire camera crew was sobbing, and and nobody there had it was a moment that affected people, and it changed, sort of changed the way I approached my work as an actor. And so for me, I was like, I didn't think I could do it. I faked it. I had a terrible take, and I took my craft and my work into my own hands, and did one of the scenes that I hope they play the day I die.
Now, did you go back to the director and say, hey, I want to do that again? I don't think I did a very good job, or was?
Yeah, he came back and said, we're going to go to lunch. We'll go in for coverage and do it again after lunch. And we did that one take, and I never did it again.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was good. It was
That's
amazing.
one of those moments that just made you feel like, yep, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like you found something on that day. Yeah.
It's like you say, like, I'm not defined by these creature effects. I'm in cinema. And to me, people think I'm this comedic actor. The reality is I've only done one comedy in my life, and that was Senseless. I'm not great at comedies. My talent is that I can make things funny and really life or death stakes.
There's more to you than what you're known for.
Yeah, well, people think I'm a comedian, but I've never been in a comedy. I'm a funny element in a serious movie.
Right. Yeah.
In the 90s. That's why I was in the 90s as a kid coming up.
Mm-hmm. Well, I do think you'll win an Academy Award someday. I agree.
Well, taking it from somebody who's already won one.
Well, that was That was
Awesome.
I don't know.
Well, I think it's cool. So,
Thanks.
well, thank you guys. Thank you for having me. I like these little moments in my life where I get to check in.
Oh man,
Thank
this
you for
was
doing
like this was so awesome. I really enjoyed talking to you. You're a badass, man. I loved how real this interview was. Super awesome. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me. All right, guys.
Okay, brother.
Yeah, much love.
Take care.
Bye, guys.
All right, that was great.
That was awesome. That was the best interview we've done, I think.
I knew didn't I tell you he'd be a good interview?
Yeah, that guy's a badass. I'm like, I just want to be pals with that guy forever.
Dude, he and I, we've only been working together about a year and a half, maybe 2 years, and he and I have become like fast friends, like you and I are. Like he and I clicked immediately.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah,
I just love how real it was. It was very real. Like there was no bullshit at all of any of it. Yeah. Did you have a were you familiar with John Waters? Sorry. Were you familiar with John Waters? I do.
Right. I like
because I'm
him.
52.